It's precisely 6:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Anjana Dodamgoda, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. The President appoints new bribery commission. Over 1,400 drug suspects arrested during Yukti operation. The Minister of Irrigation orders probe into reports of salinity barrier across Nilwala River. Only certified trained safari jeep drivers allowed into Yala National Park from 1st of January. Online payment system to be introduced for all local authorities by 2024. And in world news, UN appoints humanitarian coordinator for war-torn Gaza. And in sports news, umpire trapped in lift delays play in Melbourne Test. Now the local news in detail. Justice WMNP Davela has been appointed as the new chairman of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. Meanwhile, Chaitya Gunasekara and K. Bernard Rajapaksa have been appointed as other members. Accordingly, the President's Media Division said the relevant appointments made by President Ranil Wickremesinghe will be effective from 1st January 2024. Minister of Irrigation Pavitra Wanyarachi has directed all relevant officials to immediately look into the recent media reports on the salinity barrier erected across the Nilwara River. Accordingly, all officials were directed to inquire into the information revealed in the news report on the salinity barrier and to subsequently submit a report within a month on resolving the issue. The Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority said to maintain Sri Lanka's wildlife tourism starting 1st of January 2024, only trained and certified safari jeep drivers would be permitted to enter the Yala block. Dr. Sumit Pilapitiya, chairman of the committee appointed to improve the quality of wildlife tourism in the Yala National Park, confirmed that the park authorities have been instructed to check the ID issued by the Department of Wildlife Conservation of all drivers, and those without the necessary documents would not be permitted to enter. Dr. Pilapitiya assured that all IDs would be issued by December 30th to ensure the protocols are followed. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news. State Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Janaka Vakkumbara, says plans are afoot to introduce online payment portals for all 341 local government bodies starting next year. The lawmaker said a mobile phone application is planned to be launched by 31st of March 2024 for this purpose. Earlier, the ministry said this online payment system is already in place at 69 local government institutions and that payment of taxes, including assessment taxes, is underway through the online system in those local government institutions. Further, it is planned to carry out the activities related to obtaining necessary approvals for the construction sector under this online system. The new program has been introduced in a bid to enable the general public to complete their requirement without any inconvenience, the ministry said, adding that this program will be introduced for all 341 local government bodies across the island before the end of this year. The All Ceylon General Posts Employees Union says it has called off the Work to Rule campaign, which was scheduled to be launched today. Its members were planning to launch a token trade union action today over their demand concerning salary hikes. With that, we conclude the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatma.
The Public Security Ministry says more than 1,400 persons have been arrested during 24-hour police operations ending at 12:30 a.m. today. Accordingly, 1,422 suspects in total were taken into custody under the anti-drug operation Yukti along with 447 grams of heroin, 827 grams of ice, 5.35 kilograms of cannabis, and 3,574 narcotic pills. Financial assist investigations have been initiated on 3 suspects and 37 individuals have been sent for rehabilitation. Additionally, detention orders were secured against 35 suspects. That was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Wedamahatmaya.
This is Watchlight.
Regional correspondent says vehicular movements along the Polonnaruwa-Batikulo main road has been restricted due to inundation. Accordingly, the stretch of road from Gallella to Manampitiya has been limited to heavy vehicles. That was Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Taking a look at the headlines of the world news, UN appoints humanitarian coordinator for war-torn Gaza. Russia accuses US of threatening global energy security. Parasite actor Lee Sang-kyung found dead in midst of drug probe in Seoul, Korea. Now the world news in detail. Sigrid Kaag, the Netherlands' former Deputy Prime Minister and the Middle East expert, was appointed the UN Coordinator for Humanitarian Aid to War-torn Gaza, the United Nations chief announced Tuesday. The announcement by UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres follows the Security Council's adoption of a resolution on Friday requesting him to expeditiously appoint a senior humanitarian and reconstruction coordinator for Gaza, where more than 2 million civilians are in desperate need of food, water and medicine. Russia has claimed that U.S. sanctions levied against the Arctic LNG 2 project undermine global energy security. The Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman hit out yesterday at Washington's unacceptable move to clamp down on the massive Arctic LNG 2. The sanctions are just the latest measure implemented as the West seeks to limit Moscow's financial ability to wage war in Ukraine. The remarks came after Washington announced sanctions against a new liquefied natural gas plant that is under development on the Garden Peninsula in the Arctic last month. South Korean actor Lee Sang-kyung, known internationally for his role in the Academy Award-winning film Parasite, has died while being investigated for illegal drug use, police confirmed Wednesday. He was 48. Police in the capital, Seoul, said in a statement they had received a missing person report from Lee's manager on their hotline. Lee, who received acclaim for his role as Park Dong-jin, the father of the wealthy Park family in Parasite, was found in his car on Wednesday morning. Police said the cause of death is presumed to be suicide. With that, we conclude the world news. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the world news once again. UN appoints humanitarian coordinator for war-torn Gaza. Russia accuses US of threatening global energy security. Parasite actor Lee Sang-kyung found dead in midst of drug probe in Seoul, Korea. That ends world news.
Development News.
Officials of the Indian Institute of Technology Madras will visit Sri Lanka in February to begin the process to set up a branch of its campus here. According to plans, IIT Madras will first set up a branch of its Tech University next year. The decision follows a recent meeting between Education Minister Susil Premjanta and IIT Madras. It was facilitated by Sri Lanka's Deputy High Commissioner in Chennai, Dr. D. Venkateshwaran. The meeting was a follow-up to President Ranil Wickremesinghe's invitation to the IIT Madras to set up a branch in Sri Lanka. That was Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
Taking a look at sports news. During Thursday's Boxing Day test between Australia and Pakistan, the start of the post-lunch session was postponed due to an incident involving third umpire Richard Illingworth, which resulted in humorous scenes on the field at the renowned Melbourne Cricket Ground. On day 3 of the second test, after lunch, the players walked out and play was stopped for a few minutes. Joel Wilson and Michael Goff, the on-field umpires, were notified that Illingworth had not arrived at his MCG station. The cameras were panned toward his vacant seat by the announcers as well. Cricket Australia's social media arm posted on X platform that the game is delayed because the third umpire is stuck in the lift. That was sports news.
Go ekakiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Public can now order essential commodities at reasonable prices and delivered free of charge at the doorstep. Managing Director Pacific Agro Private Limited Dr. Tilakasiri Vitharana said consumers may order online through janajaya.lk or by calling 0777 906070. Janajaya provides the best value for money groceries for all Sri Lankans. The company aims to deliver the best value products at the lowest price in the market. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news.
The economic crisis is bearing on people, with as many as 60.5% of households finding their monthly average incomes reduced, while 91.0% of households experiencing an increase in their monthly expenditure levels, according to a survey by the Department of Census and Statistics. The department traced back the origin of the crisis to the 2019 Easter Sunday attack, said it was exacerbated by the pandemic. That was economic news.
Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the eastern and Nuva provinces and in Hambantota district. Several spells of showers will occur in the northern, north-central provinces and in Matale and Nuwara districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, are likely at some places in the Ampara, Batticaloa and Hambantota districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at several places elsewhere of the island tonight. Fairly strong winds, about 30 to 40 kilometers, can be expected at times in the eastern slopes of the central hills and in northern, north-central, northwestern, eastern, Uva and southern provinces. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in central, Sabaragamuwa and western provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts during the morning. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The President appoints new bribery commission. Over 1,400 drug suspects arrested during Yukti operation. The Minister of Irrigation orders probe into reports of salinity barrier across Nilvala River. Only certified trained safari jeep drivers allowed into Yala National Park from 1st of January. Online payment system to be introduced for all local authorities by 2024. With that, we conclude the news, and over to my friends and certainly yours who's all geared up to keep you entertained until the end of transmission. I can see them all excited already. Maybe the season has kept them so merry. Anyways, wishing them also and wishing all our dear listeners a promising 2024. Over to you, Mariela, as well as Navindo.